Good afternoon, all. We'll call the August 18, 2025. I'm going to give us a roll call, please.
Mr. Cooper?
Here.
Mr. Coleman?
Here.
Mr. Radford?
Here. That's going to blame on somebody online.
Me. I was trying to do that.
Thank you. The minutes of our last meeting of August 4, 2025, were distributed members of the board. Any corrections, additions, or deletions from staff? Hearing none, is there a motion for approval as presented?
So second.
Further discussion? Hearing none, all in favor say aye. Aye. Motion passes. First on our agenda, Chief Ison. Afternoon.
Good evening. I think the first thing on my list is to have some guns destroyed. That time our property was full. These are all meet the statutory requirements to dispose of at this point. So it's a request to take the gun busters and have them destroyed.
He's giving us a list. Any questions for the chief?
I'll move for approval. Second.
Further discussion? Hearing none, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Motion passes.
Thank you. I think the second order of business is just to ratify your decision at the last Board of Works meeting to book the solicitor permit for Elton Campbell. We found that he did pose a substantial nuisance to the community, and his solicitation and actions that got him charged with criminal activity.
We voted on this and granted your request last meeting. This is documentation of the order of findings. Any questions on that?
Do we need a motion?
Yes, I would appreciate that.
So move that we approve the final action order of findings.
Second. Further discussion? All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Thank you very much.
Thank you, Chief. Mr. Jones. You're up.
Oh. Forgot I was on deck. I think what you have in front of you is a update from the Stormwater Technical Manual, Appendix D. What we were doing was just updating the form for acceptance of the operation and maintenance manual.
Questions for Chris? Not, I'll move to approve resolution 25-11 as presented.
I'll second.
Further discussion? Hearing none, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Motion passes. Well, good evening.
Good evening, board. I'm here this evening to request ratification of contract for emergency repair on a sewer line at 566 Fry Road. We had repaired this week, not to exceed amount of $250,000 contract as been approved by legal.
Questions for Randy?
I'll move for approval. Yes, just to clear what the emergency was, then if he had two, was it put it to the bid?
Excuse me, Shannon, and your motion would also show that this is a declaration of emergency.
Yes.
And that there were just precise names of the persons who were.
Patriot Excavating.
That's the only name that was invited to provide quotes. Part of the motion.
Yes.
Is there a second?
Yeah. Yes.
Further discussion? Hearing none, all in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Motion passes.
Thank you, board.
Thanks.
You want your pictures back? You want your pictures back?
Okay, 2637 Spurlock Lane, Mr. Singh. Hi.
Good evening, everyone. So we have received a bill of $332 for brass work. And I was in hospital because I had a presentation, so I got admitted on 24th. And I got discharged on July 4th. So I don't know, like, so that's why our brass wasn't pretty good, right? So we are requesting if you can make it off. It's fine.
Anybody here from the audience, from John, is anybody with you? Yes.
Sure. This is not my case, but on Spurlock, the notice of correction was served on June 24th, and it went for mowing July 1st. It was mowed. July 2nd went to continuous abatement notice. Again, August 5th, it was sent for mowing. It was mowed on August 6th. And then as of today, the offshore by the area is actually could be subject to mow today, but we put it off in this year.
Questions for Mr. Lau or thoughts about this?
So you've had it moved by the city twice, but now it's ready a third time.
So on August 6th, when they did it, our grass was not big. We were home, like our grass was not that big, like they mowed it.
So do you not have anyone to mow it?
No, my husband is a truck driver, so he was not home, but I was home. But our grass was not that big.
Is there any median ground here? Part of that?
Well, so there's at least the third one you've not, John, you've not.
Can you mow it now?
Yeah, we can do that.
Okay, so it's due to have a lien filed for at least two. Might be a suggestion that we give them a certain number of days to pay the two lien amount, the amounts that would be lien. How much is that?
So $335 for more.
How much?
$335.
That's the total for two of them?
No,
There's two bills.
it's just one.
So is it twice that amount? then?
Yes.
I don't know, Jack, I mean, there's two invoices, one's 235, one's 335.
So 570, is that the total of those?
So it's, yeah.
Math in my head.
225 plus also offer right, that is beyond the.
Oh, yeah, so last time because I talked with Amanda, so she said you can come online. So we were online to get into the meeting, but nobody picked our call. So they put $100 more as a fine. And she said there was a problem to get everyone online.
We still got two that are on the, suppose we can make some concessions if the board desires to do that. Deadline on May 8th. So if it's 570, is there an amount? That amount or something less or something more?
Maybe what, 250 of it or something?
For your grass.
Fine.
Yeah, it's got it.
I'm gonna motion?
Well, I would make a motion then that we would waive 250 of the 570. That would cut it almost in half.
So that'd be 320. Click on that. And ask that to be paid within a certain number of days, 15 days.
320. Knock it down to 320
To be paid within 15
to
days.
be paid within 15 days.
320.
320. Two together.
John, do you think that's
Okay,
acceptable to you?
okay, we'll do that, but like, it was a genuine reason, that's why if you can do it more, like, that would be
Yeah, let me
more helpful.
And you're just gonna have to make arrangements with somebody to mow the grass. I mean, I looked at the picture and
It
it's
was-
very tall.
Yeah, it was an urgent thing, like I had a placenta previa, so I had to go to hospital. And then I got infection in the uterus and they did some surgery on me, and that's why I wasn't able to do that.
I'm sorry to hear that. There are people that mow it for way less than that.
Yeah, we know that, like,
Yeah.
So busy in that in hospital, that's why that's the reason.
Well, the motion is for a concession. How much time was given to make the pay that before the lien is filed?
15 days.
15 days. I'll second that. Split vote.
Yeah.
All in favor of the motion as presented, say aye. Opposed, the same.
All right.
Motion passes, so the sign it will be $320 payable within 15 days. Or we follow that. Okay. Good luck to you.
thank you.
Let's go on to Cherry Tree Lane. Mr. Missing. Anybody here for 1083 Cherry Tree Lane? Can you tell Sonia if there's anybody online? Well, is there a,
There's people online.
is anybody muted? Who's in the bottom? Doesn't look like Mr. Singh. Well, I'll move that we deny the requested waiver of grass cutting fee event for 1083 Cherry Tree Lane.
Second.
Further discussion? Hearing none, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Motion passes. Now go on to 572 Shady Creek Drive. Anyone here from that? Mr. Dowell?
Yes, he's online, but he is muted, so. See if I
Hi, can you hear me?
There we go.
Hi, thank you guys for making time for me.
Tell us what we're doing here.
I'm sorry, I'm having a little hard time hearing you guys through this. I apologize.
You're wanting a grass cutting fee waiver?
Yes, so I have a ride mower that broke down back in May, and I got a push mower, and I'd been cutting my grass with a push mower. And after I received the notice about my grass, that mower went out, and I actually just rented a mower from Home Depot. That's what I've been using to cut my grass since. But it's a $635 charge for cutting my grass. And like after I received the notice, like I made the effort. I don't know if you guys saw the pictures or not. Like I had begun cutting my grass before it all, like it started bellowing out white smoke and then just stopped starting altogether. And I'm just wondering if there's any leeway, like we could bring $635 for cutting, one trip. Just seems a little bit unreasonable.
I don't have the invoice in front of me, Terry, do you have that?
For 110.
I think this is the fee. Is this the side yard?
There you go. Looks like it.
This one is in my area. Just a little background, this property's been cited August 1st of 23, April 16th of 24. This was July 16th of this year, it was served and mowed, and it's now continuous. And as I drove by the property today, the backyard is in violation again. Again, I just did not do anything, we held off making a decision.
I'm sorry, I couldn't hear you.
He said, he was telling us about the 3 previous violations you've had on your property, and he also indicated that as of today, your backyard is in violation, even though it hasn't been cited yet, so.
So yeah, I've been working. So yesterday I did all the front yard. I work 6, sometimes 7 days a week, and I don't get off until 8 o'clock most nights. And it's just I'm trying to make time for it. I'm making a concerted effort to like take better lawn care, and I've been working out there today in the backyard because I got off early for this, and like I have been working on it.
Did you see these?
No, I didn't see that.
Let me ask you this. Mr. Dowell, how soon can you get the backyard in compliance?
I can have it in compliance. I'm working on it. Like as soon as we get off, I'm gonna continue working on it. And I had to take the lawnmower back this morning. I'm renting it again tomorrow.
Okay. It's supposed to be a little cooler tomorrow, so maybe that'll be a help to you. Given the prior violations, have some understanding of having mower problems, but that started back in May. I guess I'm not inclined to grant a requested waiver. That'll be my motion.
So I'm sorry, I could barely hear you. Did you say deny it?
Yes, we deny, that's the motion that's on the floor now. So we can discuss that a little bit. Is there any further discussion from any of the members of the board? Hearing none, all in favor say aye. Aye. Motion passes. Okay, good luck with your mowing tomorrow.
Okay, it's due the 23rd. My wife and I, we live paycheck to paycheck. We'd been saving up our money for a riding mower. Then with back to school and my wife's starter and alternator went out, we had to purchase all that drained our savings account. Is there any way I could get an extension? Because I don't think I can come up with $635 by the 23rd.
Yeah, I appreciate that. I would entertain a motion to extend that time by another 30 days, but that would also assume that you keep everything else mowed within that time frame.
Yes, sir.
Al?
Absolutely, I understand.
Okay, so that was a motion and a second by Shan. So you'll have 30 days to pay the $635, conditioned upon you not getting another notice of violation.
All right, thank you.
All right, good luck.
Thank you.
Oh, yeah. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Motion passes. Thank you, John.
Thank you.
Now, Mr. James and Carla Hughes, 621 Horton Street.
Yes, sir. It'd be just me tonight, but back in December
Been a while.
and January, we had a sewer line that broke under our house. We didn't know it for some time. Then the smell finally got to us, and it was cold, and we got plumbers in several different times finally. But before we could get the plumbers to work, service master, service master? I believe it's service master had to come out and clean it up, and they did so. And so our question is there a possibility to adjust the sanitation bill? We were hoping to lessen that bill by $187. We're not, what we believe is that no one should have to pay for water and material that did not go down the sewer. Yeah. So that's kind of where we're at with that.
Okay. Mr. Wright, you want to weigh in on this?
Yes, Greg Wright, controller. I have some notes from our utility billing office. As far as the leakage goes, our normal process with leaks is excessive usage caused by water leaks. So that's generally when that happens, we would see higher usage. We would adjust it based on the same process we use for the summer discounts. We did not see an increase in the actual consumption. So that's why it was recommended to come to this board, because we don't have a process for that. I did confirm with the sanitation superintendent, though, that the lines that do run under the house are outside of the jurisdiction of the sanitation utility. So the trouble is we don't have a way to measure how much did or did not flow through to this treatment system. We don't know if it's 100% of whatever was used there leaked out, or if it was 50. We don't have any way to measure. We don't have a measurement inside the property beyond the water consumption. So that's where we run into issues with trying to recommend any kind of adjustment from the building side.
And I can appreciate that. What I'm thinking about, we got lots of pictures here. Shows the break of the line, and obviously there was a service master that did clean up. So,
okay, Mr. Hughes, the balance is like $1,100, right? And you
right, I
paid
believe that's correct.
200, so the balance is now 900. And you said you were asking for an adjustment of.
I think for December and January, and I think it was about $87 a month, or $87 a month, somewhere in that. Right. So we were hoping to save about $180.
Yeah, that's, makes sense.
That a motion?
Yeah, okay, I'll move for approval. 180. We adjust.
180 reduction.
I'll second.
Reduce it by 180.
Yeah.
With about, how soon, Mr. Hughes, can you get the balance paid?
Oh, well, my minister of finance is my wife.
So it's club. Can you convince her to let you guys get that paid within 30 days?
I can try, oh, yes, I can, within 30 days, yes.
Is that the?
Yeah.
Okay, motion second. Okay, further discussion? Hearing none, all in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Motion passes.
Thank you. Good luck.
Thank you very much.
Bye.
I appreciate that.
Okay. Holly Springs, Winter. You with us online? Holly Springs, section 2.
You know about this one?
Yes. Greenwood Bible Baptist Church, there at the intersection of Stop 18 and Sheep Road. They are involved in, they purchased a lot north of their church, and it was in a primary plat for the overall Holly Springs. And that one lot, I believe it was one lot, was called Holly Springs Section 2. So they were required to install a pathway across the front of that existing house that's out there.
Okay.
And they've done that. There was some minor erosion control that they needed to do. We've been out and inspected, everything's okay. They've provided a maintenance guarantee for the actual sidewalk / pathway. And then they're asking for a waiver of the maintenance guarantee for erosion control because the amount would have been $56.10. And everything looks great out there. I mean, everything's standard grass. So they're asking for acceptance of the erosion control in the sidewalk / pathway, acceptance of the maintenance guarantee for the sidewalk / pathway, a waiver of the requirement of the maintenance guarantee for the erosion control, and then release of the performance guarantees for those items.
I move for approval.
Second. Further discussions? Paul, is there any conditions on that?
Yes, I didn't mention that. Yeah, there is one condition. There was a minor revision needed on the maintenance guarantee that they were made aware of. I think it was Friday. So.
My motion would reflect that.
So the second.
Yes.
Okay. Further discussion? Hearing none, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Motion passed. Thank you, Paul. I happened to go past there today. Noticed a lady, child riding a bicycle down there. It's working there. Okay, Greg Venter from Lennar, Eagle Springs, Section 1.
He's on.
Good evening, everybody. Can you hear me?
We can, Greg. Good evening.
Okay, we are here for Eagle Springs Section 1, acceptance of an execution of inspection and testing agreement for the sanitary utility.
And Paul, that looks like it's unconditional approval.
Yep, everything's good.
I'll move the approval as presented.
I'll second.
Further discussion? Hearing none, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Motion passes.
Thanks, everybody.
Thanks,
Have a
Greg.
good night.
Take it easy. You too.
See you.
The American Structure Point from Scottsdale Estates. Josh or EJ?
Yes, Josh Scribler here.
Hi. Tell us what we're doing.
We're seeking 3 waivers here tonight. 2 of them have to do with storm sewer cover, i.e. removing the 0.1 drop throughout our storm sewer structures. And then there's a few rear yard grass structures and 1 paved structure that have less than 2 feet minimum cover. And Scottsdale 6, that south end of our site, it's just flat. We don't have great opportunities to get more cover. So that's why we're seeking these, trying to maximize the cover. The storm sewer fully functions based on our calculations. And we don't think this will cause any problems from a constructability standpoint, as we do have satisfactory depth to manufacture our structures. The final waiver is that we have 2 rear yard structures that when they are 50% clogged, they stack over 0.5 feet. So Chris had asked us to request a waiver, and I apologize, I'm working in less than ideal conditions. So we are requesting a waiver for that 50% clogged standard.
Your take?
Yes, we've looked them all over. I'm sorry you don't have memos on this, but the engineering division, we're okay with all of these waiver requests. For the 0.1, they're still have the 2 feet per second minimum velocity through the pipes, so it's not affecting that. And then as Josh stated on the minimum 2 feet of cover, it is reinforced concrete pipe. They are in rear yards, and we feel that should not be a problem in those areas.
It's covered by an easement.
Yes, yes. And then the final one, in these 2 locations that are in common areas and drainage easements, the 0.5 feet is what we'd like to see in these 2 locations. It'll get up to about 8 inches but there won't be any water ponding on a proposed pathway that's in that immediate area. So engineering is okay with that request also.
Do you have the waiver forms?
Yes, I do have that.
Okay.
Yes.
So I guess what Paul is suggesting would be acceptable to his office is that both of the waiver requests be granted as presented. Is that correct, Paul?
Yeah, there's 3 actually.
Okay.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I got, yeah, I'm
Okay.
sorry.
Is there a motion to that effect?
So moved. Second.
Further discussion? Hearing none, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Motion passes. I'll circulate the forms and we'll sign. Okay. Thanks, Josh.
Thank you, everyone. I apologize for that.
No problem. Next, we're gonna go to 203 Kenneth Drive. Visited this matter before, but let's do it again.
Yes, sir, we're here.
Mr. Pellegrini and Mr. Kyle.
Yeah, I do have some pictures. I need some help with that. Hey, I want to thank you all for seeing us again, and we appreciate your time.
Thank you, Chef.
Pardon? And again, I represent Rock Lane Ridge, which is right in Greenwood. It's on East Main Street, close to 5 Points Road. And we think we have one of the nicest developments here in Greenwood. And we like to help our neighbors to keep it that way. And so that's what we're going to present to you today. Some of the issues that we're facing. Because there was a lot of things. I mean, I'm not an engineer. I'm just a retired guy with the Veterans Administration. And this is not in my area of expertise in the least. But I've learned a lot in the last week. So, let's see where we start here.
You can double tap it.
Oh, you want to tap it? Okay, double tap it. Triple tap it. Let's see what we got. I don't know, is that ours? Yeah, I guess that's ours. Okay, so all right, what I discovered is we have a pond on the other side of this pond that is from another development. That pond flows into our pond. And then when our pond gets up to a certain level, I guess there's 2 orifices. There's a big orifice and a small orifices. You guys probably know more about this than I do. And anyway, it continually flows out the small orifices, and it goes into a pipe behind this, and it flows out, and then it comes out behind several houses, and then it runs into an area. Let's see, I know I should add the label. Well, it comes. Yeah, well, anyway, this is the outlet of the pipes, and you can see where the water comes out of those pipes from the pond quite a bit. That was just from one rainstorm. And it comes flowing into the backyards of our neighbors. Now, this is supposed to go into an 8-inch pipe, which, let's see. Oh yeah, this is the 8-inch pipe. Now that's an 8-inch filled pipe. That was put in 50 years ago. And I guess it's in the development underground, and they use these pipes, I guess, throughout the county for all kinds of stuff. I don't know. Anyway, the problem is that pipe totally gets overwhelmed, and then the water ends up in our backyards. It ends up in 5 people's backyards, flooding their backyards, and it's causing a lot of issues. You know, tonight I'm hoping that we can give you guys a simple explanation of what's going on back there. So because we have issues with standing water, with mosquitoes. I mean, we had a 5-month flood because of the problem that was caused. And it had nothing to do, well, we don't know. It had something to do with the flow rates. I mean, we're working with an engineer to try to adjust the flow rates from pond 1 to pond 2 through that pipe that goes into this retention area that's behind 5 houses. But the water often overflows all of that because of the issues where this pipe goes. Because this pipe, okay, next. Oh yeah, let's take that last one. Yeah, these here. Oh yeah, is that up? Oh, is that, okay, yeah, these are the 2 pipes. These are the 2 pipes that, the 34-inch pipes that are behind 215. And you can see he has a wonderful backyard and is flooding his yard and floods the neighbors' yards. And all that water, and then it goes into that pipe, which is directly in front of that pipe, and then it goes out to this field. Now that field is our main problem. Okay, go ahead. Okay, we gotta get back to the main. Yeah, okay. Yeah, let's go with that. Okay, yeah. Yeah, let's go with this. Okay, now this is part of the 5-month flood. You can see right through the trees. And on the other side of that is a field that's owned by the Robinsons. It's on 5 Points Road. And that field flooded for 5 months. Now, one of the issues was there was I don't know, a leak from the gas company. And they showed us another pipe. We asked them for proof that this pipe was fixed. They sent us another pipe, and that pipe was actually not this pipe. It was 50 feet off the road. It was supposedly a 10-inch pipe, and it wasn't the pipe that caused the problem. The pipe that caused the problem was right in the center of the field. Apparently, there was a gas leak in the center of this, what they call a swale. And so the gas company went out there, and apparently what we believe they did was they piled piles of dirt to get the flood away from their area that they needed to fix. But then they left the dirt there for months, for several months, and the water just backed up into our, let's show some more pictures, into our backyards. Yeah. So yeah, the last one was good. Yeah, you can see through the trees. So it backed up. Now, we don't own that field back there, but you can see we got trees, we got water, we got standing water, we had bugs, we had dead fish, we had leeches. And these people for 5 months were living in unsafe conditions. And they had to deal with this in their backyard. And so one, there's a couple other little things. I want to introduce some of our board members here. This is Tom Hayes. He's one of our board members. I just want to introduce Tom. And this is Dale Rank. Dale is going to come up and he's going to give you just some other, he is one of our homeowners. He lives, this is his backyard, and he has a little bit of engineering background more than me. So he's going to just address some of the other issues.
Well, first, I need to make a couple of corrections. This photo was taken several years ago, and this is a routine event that happens when we have heavy flows and the ground is saturated, is the water essentially overwhelms this legacy 8-inch field tile that was shown in the picture earlier, from water coming out of the detention ponds and the runoff from the yards. And what happens is this entire flood flows, and this area, which I have a laser pointer is, you can see, back to the one I was on. This, if you look back in here in the trees, you can see the water path goes into the drainage swell that runs east-west across the Robinson's agricultural property, and then finally hits 5 Points Road, where it then goes under 5 Points to a 30-inch conduit, 30-inch drainage culvert. Now, what happened, the 5 months, and this had been doing this routinely for years. It would flood up like this, it would drain away in a couple of days, and everything wasn't great, but it was not something you want to do. There's erosion in there. I had sent maintenance requests to the builder when I first moved in, which weren't acted on. This is why I came to this meeting when the Buckingham Properties was asking for a zoning change and pointed out potential drainage problems. This is why. And then, if you go to, these are just other pictures which shows you the magnitude of the water that goes through this area. Now, what happened was they were doing a gas line installation along 5 Points Road back that started roughly in December of last year and ran for several months. Now, that gas line, by the very nature of that work, they would have had to have blocked off the end of that drainage swell that ran east-west across the Robinson property to prevent their work site from being flooded. And what they did was basically and there you can see the yellow marker there where the gas line ultimately was installed. What they apparently did, and I regret not going over there and taking photos of it, was they basically dammed off the end of that drainage ditch to keep the water out of their work site. They finished it, and shortly thereafter, for 5 months, we had standing water in all the backyards from 215, 203, 195, 190, 183 Kenny. Killed all the grass. It drained a couple of times. You could look across the field and see the water backed up at the very east end of that drainage swell at that construction site. Now, this happens to be a picture from May 14th of this year when we had a heavy rain, and you can see that the very top parts of the pile of dirt they put in there, because when they finished their work, they walked away and left the dirt there. Eventually, it eroded to the point where the water would drain away, and that's when our 5-month flood ended. Now, the yellow post there.
Excuse me, when you say they, you talk about the gas company?
Yeah, as far as I know, whoever it was who was responsible for doing that work, I think they simply walked away and left it there because, to my knowledge, nobody went in there and did any active work to remove that and restore the drainage in that drainage ditch. Okay, do you have the without the water?
Oh, without the water.
Yeah.
Yeah, let's bring it back up. See, something like one pictures from your 33.
Drainage. Well, photos, but that drainage. Well, these days.
Yeah.
So it's down here.
Well, if I could, folks, let me,
Oh,
I think all of
this
us,
now. Go ahead.
hang on a second. I think all of us appreciate that there's a problem out there.
Right.
And you're here to have us assist you in some way to address that. And I'm not convinced that the issue is something that the city has an obligation to do. But obviously we want to be a good neighbor and do what we can to help our citizens. I know, and Mr. Rand, you weren't here at the last meeting, but David was and Mr. Singh. We sent around, we conversed on this quite some length, and our stormwater department and our engineering division set forth some recommendations of what, before we could consider addressing the issue of the improper pipes being put in, would have to happen. And my understanding, Paul, is that those have been communicated to at least Mr. Singh, who is the homeowner, was there. Core, I'm sorry. Paul, is that correct?
Yeah, my understanding was from the last meeting, more or less, Mr. Pellegrini was their representative.
Right.
And then on the last agenda, a gentleman from the HOA management company was also a representative. So yeah, they were sent detailed emails the day after the meeting stating exactly how I interpreted what had taken place at the August 4th meeting and what we were looking for moving forward. So.
And to your understanding, I mean, those were get certified plans. I understand 2 weeks, that's probably not going to
One
happen.
thing you need to keep in mind is that, and this is where the city's responsibility may come into it, this drainage system cuts across multiple property lines. And I believe the town of Greenwood requires owners of drainage ditches and swells to maintain them so that they properly drain water. And there is stagnant water in this drainage ditch, from what I can tell, year round at the east end. And the work that was done in what I assume is can someone tell me if there is a easement, a utilities easement that runs along 5 Points?
You mean around the Robinson parcel?
Yeah.
I don't believe there is. I believe there's a right of way, but probably just to the edge of pavement. And then Center Point, I think, was supposed to get permission from that property owner to do whatever they did. But I don't think there's an easement, but I don't know for sure.
The problem is the failure to maintain that drainage ditch and proper flow out of it resulted in water backing up all the way onto our property across the entire length of that ditch and across the property lines.
Well, isn't that obligation, the property owner's obligation to maintain that, not the city?
Well, my understanding, I mean, this is the Robinson's property. So are you saying I should call Mr. Robinson and tell him that he needs to clean his ditch and get it straightened out? And then there's a 30-foot culvert that goes from one side of 5 Points Road to the other side. And that culvert, I don't know who runs that. I don't know who's responsible for that, but that gets backed up as well. When the water backs up on the field, the water backs up into their backyards. And we have floods and rivers, and we have standing water, and we have health issues, and we need to fix this. So, I mean, you know, yeah, we did correspond with Progress Plus, the engineers who engineered this system, and we are working to get them into this, to give us their advice and help to resolve this issue. But outside that pipe, into that field, I don't see where we can do anything except we're at the mercy of Mr. Robinson. I don't have his phone number. I don't know who he is. I don't know what his responsibilities are for fixing that field and stopping the flow of water that backs up into our backyards. And I don't know how to fix that 8-inch pipe that's been there for 50 years. It seems like this could be fixed.
The other part of the issue is that 8-inch field tile, most of it lies on the Robinson's property. And if anything was to happen to that tile in terms of blockage or anything, that water would back up and we would have, as we had during the 5-month flood, water continually flowing across the backyards until it reaches a point where it can cross the property line back into the Robinson property.
Well, and certainly no disrespect. I appreciate what all your homeowners out there are going through, but you're coming through to asking us to some sort of fix. And we hope there is a good fix, but that's why we said at our last meeting, we set out some parameters of what needs to happen so we can make an assessment. Again, no disrespect to you, but you both said you're not engineers, and certainly we're not necessarily engineers that are technical enough. We need to have some expertise advice as to what the problem, how to fix it. And then once we get
back
that.
up 1 second. I have a master's degree in mechanical engineering from MIT.
Okay. Well, then with that, Mr.
I am an engineer, maybe not exactly the right kind, but I also spent 4 years in the Army Corps.
You should be appreciative of the fact then that.
Yeah, but what
this is
I see
something that we
here
need to
is
do.
that we, as homeowners and the HOA, cannot enforce any kind of rules or regulations with the Robinson property owners. We can ask them to do the right thing, but we cannot enforce any rules involving drainage or anything else. I know, looking through the plate and other construction drawings, there's a whole laundry list of drawing notes that state what the property owners are responsible for in drainage issues. Now, we can't enforce that. The city's the only one that has enforcement authority.
Seems to me like the builder of the homes, the development of that property would have some responsibility.
Well, they did, but the town of Greece signed off on the drawings, signed off on the plan. There's two set of signatures on this plate. One of them is from the builder and the developer, and the other one's from the town of Greenwood.
Well, I kind of, I don't want to belabor this too much because I want to make some progress here. And what we indicated 2 weeks ago was what, for us to be able to have some input into fixing your problem, that what an analysis of that is to go through that. Now, you say you talked to Projects Plus. I'm not sure if they're the right ones to do it. I mean, obviously.
Well, they were recommended by Paul.
Sure.
And we did. We contacted another guy, and he just thought the project was too overwhelming. So we backed away, and then we're waiting to hear from Projects Plus and the original engineer who designed the system. But that still doesn't, I mean, he can give us recommendations, or the city recommendations on what to do to fix the field out there. But we can't fix the field out there. I mean, that's not, I mean, once it leaves our property, I don't see why it's our responsibility to pay for that or to get them to do it, or however that works. But the other thing is, you know, it's just, I wasn't gonna say, but.
Well, we've got to take this one step at a time. So let's get Projects Plus to give us identify the problem and identify the fix. Then we can take the next step is, okay, whose responsibility is the fix? Is it adjoining property owners? Is it existing property owners in your development? And then we can move forward at that point in time. Today, to debate this issue any longer is serving no purpose. We understand you have a drainage problem out there.
Right, well, the solution the city
Let me finish
wants.
for just a second.
Okay, sorry.
You know, we sympathize with what you're going through, and we'll try to work with you on this issue, either through, you know, any action that the city might have, or the stormwater board or something like that might be able to look at it. Or maybe it's a private issue that requires litigation to a property owner. I don't know what that is yet. So for us to make any kind of decision, we need to have an engineer identify, a civil engineer, no offense.
Right, so the city is capable of coming out and looking at the problem.
It's not.
They haven't even looked at it.
Right, well, I think we've looked at it. I don't think that it's not our responsibility to design the fix. And you have identified
Well, I don't know, we pay a lot of taxes around here.
I pay taxes too.
Yeah, but I'm just saying that, you know, these 5 homeowners should not have rivers of water, standing water, health issues in their backyard. That's totally unacceptable.
And I think,
you know,
everybody
and I
here
appreciate
agrees
the
with
fact that you're willing to give us a little more time to come up with some recommendations, and that we appreciate. But the one fix that I don't see as a problem right now is his pipes that are running through, because the city said that's the fix. Remove his pipes and you're done, no more problems. But his pipes are actually keeping his family safe and dry. And he's more than willing to remove those pipes, but not until his family is safe and dry.
But, and I don't think anybody has said, go get your tails out there and get rid of those pipes. We know that there's a problem. I mean, that was what brought this to our attention, was the installation of the pipes, right? Right.
Correct, and we never said take out the pipes and it would fix any problem. We never said that at all. That was never said, at least by me, I don't think.
Yeah.
So I don't know.
So, and there's we're not putting a deadline on you, and I was impressed to see you here on the agenda in 2 weeks' time, thinking you've made some progress, and I think you have made some contact.
Yeah, I'm sorry, I get a little passionate, okay?
Well,
I'm just a very passionate person.
We appreciate that, we understand that.
You know, and I just like to communicate simple matters, what the problem is, and what I think is a possible fix to the problem. We're gonna address it from our end. We will do everything we can from our end to try to resolve this issue. But our hands are tied in some areas.
Well, keep doing that, keep working with the engineers, get that information to our engineering and stormwater people, and then hopefully it won't be too long before you've got some analysis of what the fix might be, what the problem is, and what the fix is, and we can see the symptoms of the problem all over the backyards out there. We can see that, but we need to know what the fix is to create that, so we don't do this 6 months down the road or a year down the road. So if you'll keep doing that, keep that passion, David, keeping after people, I think that'll be helpful.
One thing you may want to consider, the picture that's up there right now, that is what the 30-inch culvert that runs under 5 Points Road looks like when you have enough rain. It is completely filled. This little swirl that you see out there, That's the top of a 30-inch diameter culvert. Now, you're only inches away, that culvert, the top of that culvert is only a few inches from the road level. You are inches away from having running water across 5 points, which could easily run in, cause a hydroplaning accident and somebody going into a telephone pole. Now, I've been in an accident like that. Fortunately, there were no fatalities. It's not a pretty sight.
Sure. Understand. Well, let's move quickly, do that. Keep doing that, Mr. Pellegrini, and Mr. Coward, and hopefully we can get this an answer for all of us soon.
Thank you.
Okay, thank you.
Okay, thank you. Anyone from the audience wish to address us? Ty, you had a couple of,
Got one.
I'm sorry.
Sure. Wilkerson here for a road closure.
Right. This time last year I was here, and here again. Our Eden Homes, we're a small HOA, and we wanted to do another community day like we did last year. It lasts from 11 a.m. to 2 p.m. And all we do is we bring the girls out cooking, our community, plays games, talks, and but there will not be music or alcohol. It's just family time and for everybody to get to know each other. So last year we had you guys drop off a barrier each into the road, and like I said, it's like a horseshoe. It's a small HOA, and if we get that again, I would appreciate it.
What day would this be?
Pardon?
What day and time?
That would help with it. It's a Saturday, September the 6th.
This from 11 to 2.
11 to 2.
Okay. Yeah, and your neighborhood is right there off of Smith Valley.
Yeah, the curve.
Okay. South of my house. And you entirely block the road off with the barriers? Or
No, when you come in, there's still a green on one side and that's on the other. And then we just have it's like a horseshoe. And at the horseshoe, there's like, we call it a donut, round area that's parking. And we'll be there, but we would like a barrier on each side of those two rows so nobody just comes through there. If kids are out there or whatever.
And you did this last year?
Yes.
Yeah, I remember last year. I don't think we ever received any complaints about it.
No, there were no issues last year, and as you said, their road is a nice horseshoe. So the only people going through their street are their neighbors, and most of them should be there for their cookout.
And so public safety is okay?
Yeah, last year Officer Grave was fine with not having any officers present as there's such a small side street.
I'd move for approval.
I'll say.
Further discussion? Hearing none, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Good luck, have a good time.
Thank you.
Anyone else in the audience wish to address us?
Good evening, board. Thank you for the time this evening. Just a general question. I was one of the easement encroachment requests. Is this an appropriate time to ask a question about that?
Sure. Come on.
Okay.
Well.
No.
No, okay.
It's on the agenda under city engineer.
What's your address?
1176 Everton.
Okay, we're gonna get to that in just a minute.
Okay.
About your fence, okay?
Yes.
Okay, thank you. I know everybody's excited to talk to us, so just be patient. Terry, you seem to look like that. Anything else from anybody in the audience? Yeah, Terry, from your office?
I have two contracts. First one is consideration by the board for contract with Otto's Parking Marking at the Greenwood DPW employee parking lot for $9,456 to crack and seal the parking lot.
Questions for Terry?
I move for approval.
Further discussion? Hearing none, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Motion passes.
And second contract for consideration is with Mendoza Landscape Contractors for plant material replacement, sod replacement, and other miscellaneous services as needed, the amount of $25,000.
Questions for Terry again on this one?
Not to exceed, I'm sorry, not to exceed 25,000.
Not to exceed.
I'll move for approval.
I'll second.
Further discussion? Hearing none, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Motion passes.
That's it for me.
Thank you, Terry. Paul?
The first item is the easement encroachment request docket. There are 3 different requests on this agenda. I think I'd like to address the bottom 2 with the fences first. Both of those, the engineering division is recommending for approval with our standard conditions on those. The top one at 532 Butterfly Circle, the homeowner or property owner is wanting to install an in-ground pool and a concrete deck in their rear yard. Unfortunately, there's a utility and drainage easement in their rear yard. And per the plat, it says that no permanent structure of any kind or no part thereof, including fences, shall be built, erected, or maintained on said utility and drainage easement. And then there's a large easement to what used to be Indianapolis Power and Light, which is now AES Indiana. And it's hopefully you got the packet, but it's a 175-foot easement total. And the center line is their rear line, so it's 87.5 feet on their property. And it has those large power lines and poles running through that easement. So engineering is not recommending approval of this encroachment because of the covenant on the plat about the no permanent structures in the utility and drainage easement. And then we want to make sure that AES Indiana is okay with this encroachment into that large easement, because normally those type of easements, the utility companies are not wanting anything in those. I'm not saying on this one it wouldn't be different, but we need to know.
But we're still not recommending approval because of the plat covenant.
Yeah, the plat covenant, I mean, it specifically states no permanent structure of any kind.
Is there anyone here from 532 Butterfly Circle that wish to address us?
It's like they're online.
Ms. Cox?
Hi, I'm with the contractor Sea Ray Pools, and I have submitted this on behalf of the homeowners. So we're just asking for 15-foot encroachment into this area. When we look at, the map and surrounding properties, there are definitely precedents that has been set for there being, even the next door neighbor has a swimming pool concrete deck within the easement. If you were to go down farther along how this easement runs, there are a few other properties that have swimming pools within the easement. I can give you those addresses if you'd like. So, with precedents being set by projects that have already been completed, I don't see how this would be any different and why this wouldn't be approved.
Well, I don't know anything about any other potential encroachments.
Yeah, I mean, we
deal with them as they're brought to our attention.
We don't go out and police in people's backyards to see what they have, what they don't have. The ones that I believe she's speaking about, and correct me if I'm wrong, it looks like there are a few that are above ground pools. I don't think it's an in-ground pool. So one could argue whether that's permanent. And then I think the one that I'm seeing on this aerial, it's to the, what would that be, the southwest of them, I believe. It seems like, and again, Beacon's not perfect, the aerial, the GIS, but I believe we measured that off, and there's a possibility that it's outside of that, but again, that's measuring off. But again, that's, I would consider more of a temporary, which people do things that do, and if there are encroachments in that easement, again, we can't control all those if we don't know they're happening. But in this case, they happened to need a permit to construct the pool, so it came to us from our building site because they saw that it was encroaching into these easements.
Yeah, 74 Terry Court is one of them. It is a permanent structure in-ground swimming pool. 187 Love Avenue is another permanent structure in-ground swimming pool. That one's actually a commercial as it's a apartment complex. So we're within code, electrical, when you look at code and how far water needs to be from an electric source. We have plenty of room there, that there's not a safety issue. It seems like, when you're looking at where these lines are, some of these lines go over homes. So how are these homes able to be in this area if a swimming pool can't be? And the swimming pool's not even underneath these lines. So I really don't understand how this is going to cause any issues. We do have a letter from AES. We were not told specifically that they had to put wording in the letter that now we're being told to have. They said they have no interest in.
I can explain that too.
Yeah, which I don't really understand why it was.
In the letter that was sent by, I'm assuming, the property owner to AES, it stated that they wanted to encroach into a drainage and utility easement.
Because that is what it's called on the plat.
No, it is. There are two easements.
Okay.
There's a utility and drainage easement. That is correct. This is encroaching into that easement. Outside of that easement, there is a Indianapolis Power and Light Company easement that is 175 foot wide. It shows up on the plat. It shows up on the drawing that was submitted for the pool. However, that easement is not labeled on the drawing that was sent to Indianapolis Power and Light. And that easement was not mentioned in the letter to Indianapolis Power and Light. And so they were, and maybe they should have looked at it closer, but they were unaware that that large easement was out there. And so they sent a letter saying that they had no concerns with this. But again, the letter was not written with all of the correct information. And the drawing was not labeled to show that easement was there. The easement is shown, but it's not labeled. So
I was going off the information given to me by Aaron Crute. Aaron Crute told us what we needed to do and what letter it needed to be written. So that's why the letter was written that way. He was the one that gave us the drawing, and he was the one that says there's an 87.5 foot drainage easement that you need to get approval for. So nothing was ever mentioned that we had to specify that there was an electrical, AES had, so forgive us for not mentioning that. It wasn't on purpose, it wasn't being omitted on purpose. It was because I was just going off of what Mr. Crute told us that we needed to do.
Well, why don't we continue this, allow you time to contact AES.
We do have a letter from AES saying that they are not. I've reached out to Blaine Boyd multiple times. I can't get a phone call back. I can't get an email back. So I've many times last week and today. So we're trying to get, this project was scheduled for, at the end of this month.
Well, my suggestion is you ask for the continuance to recontact AES.
With correct information.
If you don't want to do that, we can take action right now.
Okay, so let me ask, if AES writes a letter with the specific wording that is being requested, that they don't have any issues, then it's okay?
That factors into our decision-making process.
Okay.
It doesn't guarantee that you would still be approved, but without their expressed written consent, then there's no way I would vote for it. I'm just one of 3 votes though.
Does it have, what if it was just concrete going and not the pool?
Well, I mean, what if I was Pope? I mean, there's no, whether you want a continuance or if you want us to vote on this right now, that's what you need to decide.
I mean, it sounds like you don't feel positive about it, so
Well, my suggestion is the continuance. That's what I would pick up on those vibes if I was you.
Okay.
And contact AES, and then you might have a better chance of getting it approved.
Okay, yeah, I just don't know any other way to get in contact with them. I tried multiple times. It sounds like the engineer here with the city of Greenwood was able to get a hold of him pretty easily, but I've called his cell phone and his office and sent emails, and I'm not getting any
Sister,
we can try to call again, yeah.
Okay, our engineering department will assist you in that.
Okay.
Thank you.
So is that a motion for continuance, Jeff?
I would move that we continue 532 Butterfly Circle.
So does that mean we would have to wait until the next meeting?
If you can get it done before the next meeting, yes, that's fine.
Okay.
Further discussion? Hearing none, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Motion passes.
And then I would further make a motion that we grant the fence request at the other 2 addresses, 882 and 1176.
And Mr. Osborne, as yours is on there, and this choice is going to be granted, do you have any reason to address us?
This is a general question for consistency's sake. So the application was for an existing fence, which is shown in the photo on the memorandum, and then consistent with the application. The words for the approval is to construct. Is that significant here?
I guess I'm not understanding what is. So the question is, Michael.
You're wanting to construct a fence in your rear.
Correct, that, all of that is correct. This is just a question, as shown in the picture, the fence exists where it's marked. So it's not,
You have a fence there already?
Yes.
And you're just replacing it in the same location?
No, it's just getting the official approval.
Yeah.
Right, this grants
and you'll get sent this form showing that you got it approved. We'll try to get that to you tomorrow.
Okay, thank you.
So you'll have that. But yeah, you're being approved tonight to install it where you're shown on that drawing. Is that?
Yes.
Everything you've asked for sounds like it will be approved, right?
Okay.
Right.
Okay, thanks. So voting on. I'll second that. Further discussion on the docket on these? All in favor say aye. Aye, motion passes.
And finally, the last item, there's 7 operation and maintenance manuals for water quality that we're asking you to authorize the mayor/deputy mayor to sign once they're in order.
I move for approval.
Second, further discussion? Hearing none, all in favor say aye. Aye, motion passes.
That's all I have. Thank you.
Greg, you're getting into Mr. Campbell's time.
I'll try to make it quick. Hoping you all received the proposals from Exos.
We did.
Okay, what we are looking to do with that, should they be approved, we would like to have the sanitation utility pay for it so we can start the project this year. We're looking to issue some bonds at the end of this year that will then repay the sanitation utility for anything that happens prior to those bonds being issued, gets paid for, and then we pay back the utility and pay for the rest of it from the bonds. But based on the size and scope of the project, we wanted to get us started sooner than later.
Questions for Greg on this?
We need a motion.
To approve the deputy mayor signing the scope and then us paying and then repaying back the sanitation.
So moved. Further discussion? Hearing none, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Motion passes. Anything else, Greg? Looks like it's it. The rest of it.
I would move for approval of the claims as presented.
Second.
Further discussion? Hearing none, all in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Motion passes. We'll stand adjourned. Thank you for your patience all at 6:45 PM.